Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of UC Weekly News. I am sporting. Actually, I'm still wearing the Talking Points polo underneath, but sporting my new Talking Points peach or orange colored jacket, depending upon how you're doing. Because it's cold where I'm sitting. It's warm outside. The air conditioner's on upstairs in my house. I'm in my basement, and I'm freezing down here. So I wanted to wear my slightly warmer jacket. This says collaboration, but you'll have to take my word for it. And I have since we're about a week or so to go before Infocom, and there's a whole bunch of stuff we're going to be talking about Infocom. We're going to completely ignore that, and I have the AI chefs on with me, my friends Kevin Kieller and David Maldow. We're going to be talking about CEDIA and CIX show, which is in September. So, what the heck? We were always against the grain, so we'll continue going against the grain. Hello, Kevin. Hello, David.
Hey, hey.
Well, it's good to be here. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's
Good to see
always
you.
a pleasure. Always a pleasure. We're taking a little bit of a different format this year for CDS CIX, and we've just kind of locked it in, which is why it's fresh in all of our minds. You guys have been at the show with us for the last couple of years. The IMCCA puts on the educational programs around UC at the show, and we focused on the chefs and AI education last year. And this year, instead of just being AI education, we have Zoom very graciously sponsoring your activities, and it's going to be an AI lab. So tell us what that's all about. Whichever one of you guys wants to start talking first. What's the AI lab going to be like?
Yeah, so I'll dive in here and start. So the first thing we should outline is the AI chefs. Our recipes are don't involve food. They involve helping you get make effective use of AI to improve your business. So if you come up to us and if you're hungry, we'll feed your mind, but we're not going to feed you food. So last year we had a whole track to ourselves, and it was all about presentations where we presented our recipes or our tips and tricks. But this year, as you said, David, a hands-on lab. So we're going to let people try out the different AI assistants or AI agents, things like ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude, and of course Zoom's ZoomMate, which is their new, just introduced kind of AI teammate, hence the mate name. And then we'll also be kind of doing some scheduled learning. But we really wanted from last year, there was a lot of questions, and we really want to set up, some multiple workstations where people can get some hands-on experience, and then we can provide guidance, or we can all learn together, because that's really, what I think David Maldo and I, on our shows, a lot of times I learn from him, and this I think we're all learning when it comes to AI. So we'll share some of our knowledge, and I think it's going to be a fantastic opportunity for people at the show.
So CEDIA Expo, the Commercial Integrator Expo, is taking place September 1st through 4th at the Denver Convention Center in downtown Denver. It's the last year for a while that it's going to be in Denver. It's going to be going on the road for a little bit for the next few years. And on those days, you guys are going to be setting up. David, what can somebody expect when they walk up to you guys,
Well,
other than the funny hats?
other than the funny hats and probably aprons as well. If you watch any of our recipes, we really try to, we try to have fun with it, but we try to give, effective use, like Kevin was saying, of the tips. But what's different this year is, one of the things I always say about AI is it's something you could just hear about or talk about. You got to experience it. You got to try it. There are some things you need to watch a presentation on. There's some things you need to try. Every time Kevin gives me a recipe, he says, here's something I did with Gemini. Here's something I tried with Claude. Here's something I tried with Copilot. And I don't just say, okay, that was interesting. Thanks for telling me. I say, I need to try that. So that's why I'm excited about the lab this year, because instead of just, as wonderful it is to listen to Kevin and I stand there and talk all day, instead of listening to Kevin and I stand there and talk all day, you'll do some hands-on stuff and try it yourself and experience it.
So if I'm an end user or a residential user or a supplier, an integrator, and I say, well, I'm trying to figure out how to use what's the best way to write my invoices, what's the best way to do inventory, what's the best way to create a graphic so that I can get people interested in my website. I'll be able to walk up with you guys and actually try that on some various platforms and see if I can get some one-on-one, hand-over-hand information as to what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, we don't have all the answers because I don't think anybody does. But I think it'll be, we can kind of guide and share things that we've learned. And also, you'll get the opportunity if you're an AV pro to try out maybe some of the things that you haven't signed up for, right? Because so we'll absolutely be able to do that and share some of our recipes and I think at last year's show, one of the things that was exciting to me is, you know, we learned like people said, "Oh, well, I do this," and we're like, "Oh, wow, that's something that we hadn't thought about." So we really want it to be an interactive session this year, and I think that's going to be both exciting and I think a good opportunity to try things. As Chef David said, these are things that you need to try hands-on. So we're, with the sponsorship of Zoom, we're happy to be able to do that.
Yeah, we really do want to thank Zoom. Zoom is out with a new announcement this week that they've sort of changed the way they're doing things. David, do you have the high level version of that?
Well, what Zoom is changing with us.
No,
I'm sorry.
The Zoom's announcement of from switching from AI companion
Oh
to
yes, yes, they have a huge announcement. It's they have an AI productivity suite. Kevin and I just did a show about it yesterday, and we're really excited about it. And we think it stands out because the productivity suites we have today, Microsoft with Excel, Word, and PowerPoint, and Apple has their version, and Google has their version. They've existed for years and years, and they're adding AI on top of it, and some better than others. And everyone's saying it's an AI build platform, but this one truly is. This isn't Zoom built a spreadsheet and then put Zoom AI on top of it. They really did start with their AI, and I always say AI is all about the data. Zoom is listening to this meeting right now. I have Zoom taking notes on this meeting right now. If I want to make a PowerPoint later, I can go to Claude or whatever and import the transcript, or I could just go to this new Zoom thing and say, you were in the meeting with me, Zoom. Make the PowerPoint. It really is something different, and it's new. We're just barely starting to play with it, but we're excited about it. And I do like the branding of it. It's so hard to brand, but I like the idea of AI as friend, AI as helper, and I like short names. Companion was good. Mate is better. I'm in with Zoom Mate.
Okay. So the three of us are good friends, if people don't realize that already. And we have had this conversation where I'm the cynic and you guys are the protagonist. Or am I the protagonist? I don't know. Anyway, my English lit is dying. But let me ask you the cynical question here, which is, all right, so you've got Zoom Mate, which was announced this week as we're recording it. You've got Microsoft's Project Solara, which was announced this week, which is an AI first engine built on MDEP, which was the other jacket that I had down here that I could be wearing, my MDEP jacket.
I see the
Um,
coffee mug.
and the coffee mug's back there. Yes, there's also all kinds of. There's also the fireplaces going back there, which is actually really nice. But this is not about me. Oh, the fireplace matches this color too. So anyway,
There you
um,
go.
the the cynical me says, I'm not going to learn any of this. I'm not going to learn about Zoom Mate. I'm not going to learn about Project Solara, just like I didn't learn about Copilot, because by the time I would get into it up to my elbows, it'll be something else. And it's the speed at which these things are coming. In my personal opinion, this is cynical, but it's true. The speed at which these AI changes are coming isn't helping the users. It's helping the providers try and one up each other so that they feel like they don't get left behind. For the users, they would need to announce these changes once a quarter and just stay with them for a while where people can learn some adoption tricks and get comfortable. And if they wanted to have we've talked about this before, Kevin, or they wanted to have a development engine where people could go and try, things that change once a week, in an agile framework, they could. But in production, it should sort of be a little bit more stable like that. Why am I wrong? Why should I be learning about these announcements that come out when they come out?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think you raise a very valid point. The pace of change is a challenge and is a challenge um, for adoption because things keep changing. Um, I think, the providers are investing huge amounts of money and they haven't, more than they're actually generating from revenue. So I think that the providers, it's not so much one-upmanship. I think they're really working hard to figure out what provides measurable return on investment that users are willing to pay for on an ongoing basis because it makes their life easier. Um, and I think, yes, while you can kind of cover your eyes and ears and kind of take a break from it, I do think Chef David and I, with the AI chefs, we're trying to show people meaningful little recipes to get some real value. And, there is certain areas in my business where AI is super helpful. And then there's other areas where I'm still looking to figure out how it fits in. Um, but I definitely understand users saying like, stop making changes. It's overwhelming me. It's making it stressful. And I do think that the vendors are trying to figure out a way not to overwhelm users. But it's kind of
Some of them.
that's the age we live in, right? So some of them. So Chef
Some of
David,
them.
I
I,
go
I I
on,
wouldn't give them
add to
all
what I
credit.
said.
You just gave all the vendors credit for not
Well,
trying
I
to
was trying to
overwhelm
be
us,
nice.
and some of them are being nice. Yeah, and it does depend on the vendor. I did see a few things on LinkedIn complaining about Zoom. Oh my God, Zoom's making more changes. But to be fair, we've had AI Companion for years. It's not like it was AI this and AI this and we had AI Companion for years, and this was not. Oh, we got to do a sudden change. Kevin and I, well, all three of us have known about this for a long time. This has been coming. This has been NDA. There have been a lot of secret names for it that we've known about. This isn't a spur of the moment. So a big change like this every 3 or 4 years, I'm willing to learn about, as opposed to, and I think Microsoft slowed down a little bit, but at one point Microsoft had a different Copilot every day, and I wasn't bothering to keep track of it because, first of all, I have Kevin. Kevin was keeping track of it, but it was changing too much. It's the Copilot I'm looking at today is not going to exist next month, so I'm not going to learn how to use it. And I think they've slowed down. I think that was too much, and I don't think it was one-upsmanship. I think it was just I think they had a lot of different teams working on Copilot stuff.
Yeah.
Anyone at Microsoft who wanted to keep their job at that point or wanted to get on a good project was like, I need to be working on a Copilot project. So we had all these different teams coming up with new different things, and it wasn't a cohesive thing. Whereas the Zoom, that was one unified, everybody on board. We're going live with the Zoom Mate thing. So it depends on the company, it depends on the offering, but yeah, you definitely, you're not crazy, David. You do have a point. Some of these vendors are whoa, slow down. What are you even doing now? I can't keep track.
Well, and I would also say that to a certain extent, they're all being measured by the same yardstick, where this may have been the first big change for Zoom in a long time, but it's one of 1,000 changes that have been put down
Hmm.
by at end users by these big companies. So even though the last 17 changes were Microsoft and Google, it's just another change to people. So obviously, that at some point the goal is going to be, why is what we're doing, why is what Zoom is doing, why is what Microsoft is doing, whoever the provider is, why is what they're doing different than any of the other companies? Now, the Gary Kay, who does a array of publications, brilliant guy, has been in the industry for a very long time, came out with a very controversial post about 2 weeks ago that I completely supported, which is he's saying, if you're coming to Infocom talking about being an AI company, you're not reading the room. You've got people that were booed off the stage during commencement exercises when they brought up AI at colleges. You've got young people thinking they're not getting jobs because of AI. You've got
Yep.
people that have been in the workforce for a while. So anybody coming to these trade shows talking about AI isn't reading the room. And I added to him saying agentic as well, because honestly, I just think that's a foolish made up word. It doesn't mean giving anything agency. Now, I have heard a couple of companies echo those sentiments in the last week or two. I think 8x8 did at their meeting, and I think Zoom did a little while ago, where the word they're focusing in on is orchestration, which is how to, and Cisco Live too, that the idea that it's not so much the AI or it being agentic, but how do you pull all of these pieces together, which may be a better story to come through with than just simply saying, look at our new AI. So, what do you guys think about the terminology here?
Well, so I agree with you. I think, back when we talked about unified communications or collaboration, or, I mean, a lot of times those are the how. So we're going to use artificial intelligence. We're going to use agentic agents. We're going to use unified communications. I mean, businesses get value and are interested in the what. What are the outcomes? So I agree with you. I would not call my product, I would not intentionally put the words AI in my product. I would just have a really, an excellent product, and if it used AI, fantastic. If it just used great software engineering or other design principles, I mean, if it helped users get their job done and deliver effective business results, I don't care if it used little tiny monkeys inside or whatever, right? It's like the mechanism. I want the
You want the
outcome,
results.
the results, right? Exactly. So, I do think that there are too many buzzwords. I mean, I think that this whole agentic is become the buzzword. Um, and I do think that vendors who, I think you can use those, but then you have to tell me what it's, why the fact that it's agentic, what does it do for my business and why should I invest in it, right? If you just say, I've got an orchestrated agentic AI assistant, give me money, I'm going to say like, look, that's way too many buzzwords for me. And I think that that's one of the reasons we're going to do this hands-on lab, right? Because if people, I think that there are things where AI is fundamentally changing business workflows in a very positive way. And I think, to your point, David Danto, it's also causing huge labor disruptions, right? And so, I think the more you know about this, the better you will be able to hopefully plot your course, or if you've got kids that are entering, into the workforce, or trying to pick their major in university or college, maybe you'll be able to, advise them, or at least ask some good questions.
Or maybe they're attending the show and you can advise them. That makes
There you
sense too.
go.
And
There
you
you go.
can actually also take me to task. I do remember that I had been using in my presentations a slide that said unified communications is the only technology that I've ever heard of that's been launching for 22 years.
Hmm.
So this is the opposite side of that. Now we have, a new thing every 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
I guess nothing satisfies me one way or the other. But
Can I, a quick thought on the Gary Case thing? I agree, and I think, but I have to carve out an exception. This might be the exception that proves the rule. The rule is I agree with everything you're saying. I'm about the outcome. Don't lead with AI. If you have a new video bar, I know there's AI in your video bar. We all know there's AI in your video bar, and it does wonderful things and it works wonderfully. Don't talk to me about the AI, or don't call it an AI video bar. Tell me that it properly frames the people, and you could tell me that it uses AI to do that, but don't call it an AI video bar. Don't tell me the AI toothbrush. Tell me the toothbrush, it has AI in it, I know. But the exception is there are some vendors that their product is AI. NetSpeak, their product is an AI agent. Literally, Lena is an AI agent. And 99% of the time when you hear the word AI agent, that's not an agent. It is a BS marketing term. But this one actually is. So they get a pass. I want to print out like we should sign a pass and put it on their booth that they get an AI chef's pass that they're allowed to say we are an AI company and we are agentic, and they could blare it to the all the way to the rafters. But that's the exception that proves the rule. If your product is AI, yeah, you could talk about it. But if your product
Okay.
is a microphone, right?
We like Sam and Eric, who founded the company, and Dan, who's there now, and Osman and the rest of the guys there. And in fact, I'm going to have Sam on the show in the next couple of weeks and let him do a deep dive on where Lena is right now. So I'm glad that you bring that up, because again, that is not, you say that that's AI, and I agree with you, it's AI, but I don't think of that in terms of AI. I think of that as a productivity saving tool to do room checks without going to rooms. The fact that it's using AI, okay, great. The fact that I can converse with it, okay, great. But the tool is a tool to improve room productivity and availability in an enterprise while reducing the manpower required to do it, or person power. And I do appreciate that. So again, we're gonna have Sam on in a few weeks, and he'll talk about it specifically.
Yeah, but I think what you did there, right, David, is perfect. You talked about the what, and then it turns out that AI is the enabling how that allows NetSpeak and Lena to do this, because without AI, before AI, it was either incredibly difficult or impractical to do what they're doing, right? Similarly, in the cybersecurity space, there's some AI that makes the speed at which you can respond to AV or network outages faster than, let's say, humans, and faster than the bad actors, right? So I think that there
Mhm.
you get cybersecurity protection, but the how is that it's enabled by AI because it's working at machine speed. So I think that there are exceptions, but yeah, please. I
And
did
it's
see
and
the I did
it's
see the AI toothbrush for
you did,
real, and
okay.
it
And
scared
it's
me.
two things. As long as we're talking about Lena as an example here, it's two factors. One is, as I said, it's a productivity factor. I could go to every room and find every unplugged cable, and I don't have to. So it's speeding up my productivity. But what I couldn't do, and I don't know if Lena's doing it yet, but I know it's on their roadmap, or was on their roadmap when they were doing it, is go out to the internet every day and see what the updates are to the various products, the firmware updates, the manual updates, the informational updates, and continually be ingesting that data. So when I refer to it, it's always got the latest information. Again, I don't know if they're doing that yet, and we'll have Sam on, but there's your promotion, Sam. But but that's also something I could never do. That I would never be able to have a staff. That I would have to have a separate clerk whose job it was to go to every manufacturer that I was working with and find every release that they're doing, and ingest each one of them and update all of my notes. That would be, three full-time jobs. No one would be
Right.
able to do that. So it's now creating the capability of doing things that wouldn't exist. So what are the type of problems or issues or situations you'd like the people attending CEDIA to bring to you?
Yeah, you can start, Chef David, and then I'll go because
Yeah, just any questions they have about how they could be more productive. One of the things, and we keep finding more uses it for ourselves. Like anytime we have a problem, we say, how can we turn AI to help us? Because we think of it as, a really smart unpaid staff member. One thing that we're going to be doing, which we're going to do at the show, is we've done like over 100 episodes. We have all of these recipes. And Kevin and I realize we have a problem, which is they're all funny food pun titles. So we have the ravioli revolution recipe, and we don't remember what exactly the AI tip is. But guess what? I pulled all the transcripts and I put them all into Gemini, and now Gemini knows all the recipes. So if you come up to us at the show and say, "Hey, I've been doing this thing with Excel," we have 4 Excel recipes. Let's see if we have your problem solved already. Anytime you're doing something manual, anytime you're doing something that's a struggle, or anytime you have a problem you couldn't solve. I'm not a coder. I've been a vibe coding. I put out plugins. There is software that I use that I wish when I clicked here it would do this. And when I call the software developers, they won't change it for me. I changed it myself. It's literally, it's almost like just tell us your problems. Tell us your problems.
Okay, so free consulting, free advice, free AI advice. You're only going to get this at the CEDIA and CIX Expo, which again, as I said, is September 1st through 4th at the Denver Convention Center. I will be there. Chef David and Chef Kevin will be there. When we're not there, first tell us how we can find episodes of the AI Chefs, gentlemen.
At AIChefShow.com. Or if you go to letsdovideo.com, it's maybe easier to type. You get, there's an AI Chefs tab that has all the recipes, all the episodes. And we're building a menu. Come back to the website in a few weeks, maybe months, and there will be an AI Bistro menu with all the recipes. It's already under development.
Bistro, I'll be able to sit down at a restaurant table with a QR code and get the menu up on my phone.
Exactly.
Kevin, tell us what Enable UC is and how we can get in touch with you there.
Yeah, so when I'm not wearing my AI chef's hat, and it's fun to be, normally we're wearing digital ones due to David Maldow's OBS studio mastery, but now we're wearing physical ones. So when I'm not doing the AI chefs, I wear two other hats, virtual hats as it were. Enable UC provides consulting services to large enterprises for complex technology projects. And then I'm also an analyst working with vendors to help them clarify their messaging and get that out into this ever crowded workspace. But the best if you're trying to follow up or have a question ahead of the Denver show, you can find Kevin Kieller on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to connect with you there.
Thank you, Kevin. Mr. Maldow?
You could find me at letsdovideo.com or LinkedIn at just look for David Maldow on LinkedIn, and follow the YouTube channel. Letsdovideo.com on YouTube.
Okay, David and Kevin, thank you very much. And thank you very much for watching the show every week as you do. Next week's show, hoping I get it recorded the way I want to while we're all at Infocom, or at least David and I are at Infocom. We're going to have my friends Blair Pleasant and David Smith on to talk about this early dichotomy we were talking about, where you've got companies moving AI forward at the speed of light, and you've got people at the other end of it saying, wait a minute, slow down, hold on, what is this doing to jobs? What's this doing to everything? We're going to finally have that conversation out a little bit while I'm walking the show floor at Infocom with David and others. And then the following week, of course, will be our wrap-up show from Infocom with some of our pick hits. We may get you, David, a cameo on that as well. But
Nice.
Thanks, both of you, very much for joining us. We will see you next week, and we'll see you in September in Denver. Take care, everybody.